الرحمن على عبده وعبده الواحد جابر الذنب لمن تاب ورافع السماء بلا عمد وباسط الأعلام وهي الجمل وخالق الخلق وأبصار عددا رحمة فارغ صمد ذل الجلال والإكرام وسبحانه عما يصفون. الحمد لله ومن ولا طاعة أحمده سبحانه وتعالى حمدا كثيرا إذا لا يفارق الحمد إلا إياه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة تنجي قائلها من العذاب، وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله الذي اختار الله وكفاه صلاة الله وسلامه على رسول الإسلام أفضل من صلى وصام وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. عباد الله، إن الله تبارك وتعالى يقول: وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون وما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريد أن يطعمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. We thank Allah. We are grateful to Him. We appreciate Him for His mercy and us. He is the one that all tongues used to praise. He is merciful to His servants. He is that great God, the one that blesses, and He forgives sin for those who seek forgiveness. He is the one that has raised the earth, the sky upon us without a single pole nor pillar. He is the one that has put the earth on water that God Allah did not make it sink. He is the creator of all the creatures. And despite a number of the creatures, Allah says He knows their number. And He is the one that guides and guards all the creatures. He is one. Not just being one, He is unique and is the one that all the creatures depends on. He is great beyond our imagination. Glory be to Him, the best of all the creatures. We thank Him once again. He is the one that all those who follow Him, He continues to bless them, even if they do not know the meaning of how He is blessing them. And we thank Him once again because He deserves to be thanked. Especially those of us who are Muslims in this country. We all need to prostrate to thank Allah for His mercy on us. Because if not for Him, nobody deserves to be thanked besides Him. We testify that there is not a deity worthy of worship. We also testify that our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant, the one that was chosen by Allah Himself. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon Him. Allah said, beside worship, He does not expect anything from you, whether you feed Him or you are going to give Him sustenance. Allah said that the only thing He wants from you is just for you to worship Him. And when you worship Him, the rest assured, you will be guaranteed of everything, not only in this life, and also in the hereafter. So you will believe, fear Allah, and always say the right thing at the right time. If you do this, Allah will cleanse you of your work. He forgives you of your sin, and will show follow Allah and His messenger, as indeed will give you the greatest of all the things. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah, and that we are grateful to Him. We need to thank Allah. and do not be disunited. Because of our recent experience and the challenges that we're about to face again in the next 1 week. That is why the title of my sermon today is Muslims Unite. If we do not unite, wallahi we will suffer for it. But alhamdulillah, despite not being united, Allah has given us what I call a control experiment. That look at what I can do. He has helped us. But if we fail in the continuous experiment that Almighty Allah decides to give us, Allah we might not survive it. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu isbiru wa sabiru wa rabitu wa taqullaha la'allakum tuflihun. This is a verse from the glorious Quran chapter 3 verse 200. Please, I want all of us to go and check that verse when we get home and ruminate over it very well. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So I call on all of you that you know that a day will be a day you will be lonely before your God. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Those of you that you are sure that the decision of Allah will come upon you any day. He said, it's very rude that you should be patient with whatever condition you find yourself. Wasabiru, you must persevere. And warabitu, and this is the key word, that you must also form a unity. One hand must help the other hand. You must help yourself. You must hold your hand. Allah says, and also let the way you hold your hand, let it based on the fear of Allah. Allah says, if you do this, success awaits you. Definitely, nobody can overcome you. Then it means, if you want the opposite, we will do the opposite. But I'm sure that the kind of life which we live now, we will know that we actually need to understand that verse. And I'm going to ask you, have you noticed the results and effects of the disunity among the Muslims? We started by giving ourselves different names so that we continue to segregate ourselves. The Muslim in the north, we say that is the Muslim from the north. They will say they are Hausas. They will have forgotten about Islam. And the Muslim from the south will say they are Yorubas. And they think of only their tribe without thinking of Islam. Even recently, we have gotten plenty of Igbo. Some people call themselves PDP, and in that PDP they have forgotten Islam. Some call themselves APC, and in that APC Islam means nothing to them. And some people call themselves NMPP, and those NMPP is only power they are thinking, they are not thinking of Islam. I saw the bone of our people who have died about 1,000 years ago. I tried to check what party they belong, I couldn't get it. And I tried to see how rich they are, I couldn't get it. And so many human bones that have died for more than 1,000 years on earth. And we ask ourselves, what is that thing that we think we need beside Islam? We have been decimated. And we have been discriminated against. I do not know whether it was inflicted on us by enemy or we put it on ourselves. But whichever, I know that we are in problem. Anybody that has eyes, we see today that the Muslims, we are not just in problem, we are challenged. But Allah in His infinite mercy, who is the owner of Islam, is giving us a kind of message. Allah says, who among you will see what we are that with what I have been to you, are you not going to open your eyes to see what I do, what I've been and what I've done for you? Let us look at why the Second World War. That the power that be assume that they are the ones that owns it. You remember the 1945 World War. Perhaps many of us are just thinking it's just ordinary war. It was a war that was targeted towards a particular something, and that is the establishment of Israel state. And that was the reason why the World War was started. And that was the reason why they do it. So now you now ask, what about other people who don't do anything and they were killed? In military terms, they call it collateral damage. Those people have to go because they must do something which they need to achieve. But before that, I want us to know that the Muslims, first and foremost, they must be united. for anybody to be able to control them. The Muslims, they must not be able to speak with one voice so that they will be able, the entire world will be able to have control on them. Perhaps you do not know that in 1920s, before 1923, when we have Ottoman Empire, the one that was being domiciled in where we call Turkey today, the Muslim has just one government. I don't want to trace it to the life of the prophets. I want to trace it to a modern world in which we have just one government. Then it was domiciled in Turkey. And do you know how that government crumbled? The power used Muslims against Muslims. They used a group of people. And where it is now known as Saudi Arabia, that go and fight them. Tell them you want to remove Mecca and Medina from the power. And the Mecca and Medina was removed from the Muslim state, the Ottoman Empire. And when Mecca and Medina is removed, what will be from that empire? Nothing. And that is why we begin to decimate ourselves. And you now see different countries. You see Egypt fighting Qatar. Qatar fighting Syria in the name of countries. As if that is not enough. If you look back at history and you see the way Islam, Almighty Allah has helped us, and we see the way in which we are today, well, you will know that many things has eluded us. Do you remember when the former American president, Donald Trump, was sworn in? The first thing that he did was to ban some countries that they should not come to America again. And he mentioned, most of the countries he mentioned are mainly Muslim countries that time. And who was there to talk for us? There was nobody. But do you know the reason why there was nobody to speak for us? Because we do not have a single government. We do not have a collection of Muslims where somebody can lead us and say this is what we want. The entire world knows that if the Muslims can come together, even the United Nations, we have to come and ask us what is our thinking before they can formulate any policy. If we say no, the entire world will say no. But unfortunately, where are those Muslims? We will come together and say this is what we want. And everywhere in the world now, the Muslims are now the leading charge. Especially, let us now come back home. When we started preparing for this election, I do not need to tell us again because we all know. The question we should be asking ourselves is, how do we get united? Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu isbiru wasabiru warabitu wattaqullaha la'allakum tuflihun. Allah said, come, I want to tell you something. Those of you who believe, be patient, persevere, be united, fear Allah. When you do this, Allah says success is your own. But when you lack the form, no matter what you do, you cannot get to anywhere. Despite the fact that we are very, very disunited, last week election, Allah has used it to open our eyes. That we should know that we have a challenge as Muslims. We should know that we have a challenge as a community of Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That we need to come together. The election, last week election, has really exposed us and has exposed our strength. It has exposed our weakness, and it has also exposed the future, what it holds for us as an Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Christians came together and they said that they want to have a Christian leader. As true, we thought it was a joke. They brought somebody who nobody knows, and before you know it, the entire Nigeria, they were thinking of him. Unfortunately for our youth, the Muslim youth, many of them follow them blindly, not knowing why they are following them, with lies. And the Muslims, we were all looking. We assume God will do it. Alhamdulillah, God did it. But I assure you, it will not continue like that from Almighty Allah. Allah says, Asallah an yar'abukumullah wa in uditum udina. That is in the mind of Almighty Allah to be merciful to you. If you come with something good, Allah says it's going to increase it for you. If you come with something bad, Allah says it's going to make it worse for you. And that is the promise of Almighty Allah. These people, they came together. And before you know it, the Christian that they were not together. I do not know whether you know them. Even when they call Khan, with all humility, I used to pride myself that I'm a Muslim member of the Khan, because I know the politics of Khan and I know what it entails. They have about 5 blocks, and in those 5 blocks, they were not related by any standard. They do not have anything in common. You see the Catholic Secretariat you want to talk about, or the one they refer to as CCCN. Even in the CCCN, the one they call Christian Church of Nigeria, that comprises of Anglican, Catholics, Methodist, Presbyterian, and so on. They are still not together. They don't see themselves as one, and yet they say they are one block. You see the one they call the Equatorican. If you ask many, even Christians, you ask them, which church is Equatorican? They never heard of it, and those are the churches in the Middle Belt. And also, they have the one which they themselves have given name. They call them Pentecostal. You now look at all these ones, and the last one of them, they call it OIC. Many of you might ask, perhaps less than 1% will know the meaning of OIC in time. OIC means Organization of African Institutional Churches. That is the church they created by themselves. And now, these people, despite their differences, when they came together, and they are coming together, you see strength that Almighty Allah has given to them. Allah is not an unjust God. Anybody that walks, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلِ مِثْقَالَ شَرَّةٍ شَرًّا خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلِ مِثْقَالَ شَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. That whomever that has done any evil will have the equivalent of it, and whoever that has done any good will have an equivalent of it. The Muslims, if not for Allah's sake, that He has helped us, if not for Allah's sake, that He has made us one, and He helped us to be able to do things that we are supposed to do as Muslims, perhaps by now we will have been crying of what has happened to us. Look at the last election. Look at the vote pattern. Simple thing that we need to understand. All the Christians, more than 90% of Christians in Nigeria, they voted for Christians. And unfortunately, we Muslims, we have 3 main candidates. It means all the Muslims, or let me say most Muslims, we divided those 3 votes among the 3 Muslims. And also, it will also help that some Muslims also joined them to vote for those people. And the meaning is that if not for Allah's sake, that has joined us together, that has helped us, and that is why we are able to get where we are today. Some people will tell you that we do not do politics, but Islam is even politics. Islam is strategy, and anybody who is not strategic can never be a Muslim. Anybody who does not know how to escape from his enemy, and you think God will do it, you are not a Muslim. You should learn how to live first. That is the number 1 pillar of Islam. How do I survive? Anything a Muslim can do to survive, Allah accepts it. So if you now sit down and your enemy are coming to kill you where you are not a Muslim. So it means, as Muslims, our strategy, first and foremost, is survival. And how do we now survive? Incidentally, Allah that has created this country has opened our eyes. We have 3 main powerful kingdoms that has been there for the past 2,000, 3,000 years. We have the Saifawa dynasty, the one that is known as Kanem-Borno Empire. You know how fast that power is. And we know of the Sokoto Caliphate. We know how powerful Sokoto Caliphate is. Incidentally, we also have the Oyo Empire. Many people don't know that Oyo Empire also tilted towards Islam. The first mosque in Nigeria was built in Oyo-Ajaka in 1553 AD. That's about 250 years before the first church was built in Nigeria. And they will be deceiving you. Our youth, we don't even know history. And they will say that we want to Christianize, we want to Islamize the entire country. You should ask, who is Islamizing who? Are you the one that come to our homes and you have come to take over everything we are? We are the one Islamizing you, or you that has come to take everything that we have? And the Muslims were keeping quiet. Not keeping quiet does not mean fight, but the Muslims we need to understand. We must be knowledgeable about our religion. We must be able to take our religion to other people. And that is the way Islam was spread throughout the world. Most of the time, there was no conscious effort to spread Islam. But because people go, those who trade things, they know much about Islam. Many of us today, it is only our social media that we are close to. Many of us do not even know anything about Islam. If I ask you, many people don't even know what they call al-Majiri today is actually the root, the beginning of what is called education. What they call al-Majiri is actually the beginning of what they call Western education. If I ask you, go and find out, you will be surprised that Almighty Allah has blessed us. Unfortunately, Allah bless Islam, but the Muslims were trying to bring ourselves down. The three dynasties, or the three kingdoms, that is the Oyo Empire, the Sokoto Caliphate, and Kanebono Empire. Almighty Allah is using style to join us together. I think it's the time now. The three kingdoms should now come together. And I assure you, if the three kingdoms now come together, believe me, we are taking more than 75 to 80% of what is called Nigeria. We are the one who will decide what will happen. But because we know that when Muslims are in the position of authority, those who call the real Muslims, they will never cheat anybody. Even when you do not belong to the same with them, they will give you your right. They will give you what you deserve, and they will never take anything from you, in as much as you do not pass where you are. Alhamdulillah. Allah has helped us. We have a Muslim president, whether anybody like it or not. He is our president. We pray that Almighty Allah will continue to support him, and Allah will continue to support those who support him. Allah will continue to support those who support and those who support them, so that we will be able to have the better country which we are looking for. And Allah will use him to make Islam the best of all religions ever created. Allah will make it the best of community that we could be in our country. If Allah help us, that He succeed, it means the Muslims have succeeded. It means because this is the first time that election is almost 100% based on religion and on tribe, whether we like it or not. The election we had last week was not based on party whatsoever. It was actually based on tribe and on religion. Yes, nothing stopped it. It means everybody should be able to focus and decide that this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. The Muslim, Allah is giving us victory to help ourselves. Allah says, وَتَعَوَّنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَوَّنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Allah says, join together on good things, so that we come together to help ourselves. We'll be able to help even non-Muslims that will be around us. And the election that is also coming this coming weekend, the Muslims will have been so lazy in coming out. More than 70 to 80% of Muslim voters did not go out to go and vote. This is the time that we should go and vote. If you are not, we know there is no voting in Abuja, but please call your people at home. There is a particular state that interests me as a person, and that is Taraba State. They have just one Muslim that is contesting in that state. I don't care which party you come from. If you cannot call yourself, if that man still lose, it is insult for none of us that we call ourselves Muslim. There are 4 Christians in other parties and only 1 Muslim. We might not know, but I believe you have somebody that knows somebody in Taraba. Call them that they must all come together, so that let us make a point. Muslims are more than in Taraba, but because they are not friends, they are not powerful, and that is why they are being suppressed all the time. When I say this, I do not mean that we should go and fight. No, we must do it in the most peaceful manner, because when there is crisis, the Muslims can never succeed. And it is only when there is peace that we can be able to have whatever we are looking for. As Muslims, Almighty Allah is our focus. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our guide. And if that is true, it means whatever we want to take, we will not take it with crisis. We will not take it with fight. We will not take it with quarrel. Because we know that the destiny lies in Almighty Allah. And also, we should also understand that this time around, it is the time for us Muslims that we should know ourselves the more, that we should come together the more, that we should help ourselves the more. Let us help ourselves to grow, help the next Muslim. When they grow, they might not be able to do anything for you, but I assure you, your children's children, where they will get mercy, you yourself, you will sit down and prostrate and say, oh God, I'm grateful to you. Because do not wait that because you do not know them, those people which you are helping, Allah knows, and He will not abandon you too. This is the time that we should know, because Ramadan is equally close. We should continue to have a way of working together as Muslims. If we do not do it, wallahi I do not know what tomorrow holds. But I will also end with the verse that I started with, where Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Oji who believe is biru. You should be patient. Wasabiru. You should persevere among yourself. Warabitu. You should work together. You should hold your hand and raise yourself up. Watakullah. You should let all this based on the fear and the consciousness of Allah. Allah said if you do this, Allah said you will succeed. You will be prosperous. You will be the one in front. You will be the one that everybody will be looking for. We pray Almighty Allah to continue to support us as a nation. We pray that Allah, who is the creator of everything, we pray that He continue to be with us. One of the ways that we have started to support ourselves, it is the distribution of zakat. We invite us, those of us that Allah has blessed, to join us here tomorrow when we are disposing about 10 million naira to some deserving Muslims for zakat here tomorrow that was given to us about 4 or 5 people that paid their zakat. They are the one that we want to hand it over to tomorrow. We invite you, and those of us that Allah has blessed, do not forget to also pay your zakat. When you do it, you become prosperous. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Allah commands us to do no good and to hit and kill. He forbids us evil deficiencies and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive admonition. ربنا إنك من تغفر لنا فقد أخزيت ومن الظالمين ممن أنصار. ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا واغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.